Welcome back to the Flow of Life Tarot. So you may have noticed already these cards were out for another reading, many parts, which is probably already online right now. And the cards that came up at the end, I've kept these because I actually want to expand on this further, and it may or may not. Okay, let's have a look. So there's actually been a bit of delay in getting this one done, but I've just been so keen to do this. So initially we were looking at your current flow, and with that we had the vision quest. So you've been doing the light and shadow work integration, divine masculine, divine feminine integration, many paths, which is where you're at right now, and we have a progression 6 to 7, and then the flow, which is where you're headed. So we're going to expand a bit further on this. I actually just couldn't wait. So, but there has been a huge delay in recording this, which I find very interesting. And we also have the bonus card of the Gatherer, which to me indicates, yes, autumn, but also gathering your research. We've got another 3 here. So 21, 3, 4, 6, and 2. We've got a progression from here, 20 to 21. So it's you're gathering and doing some research before making decisions, before stepping into your flow. And we had the Strength card, Leo, to support this. And also we had, yes, the Mother Star, the King of Swords, the Sun, and the Ten of Pentacles. So this is what your flow is taking you to, and it's saying, yes, keep going, you're on the right path. These were such positive cards that I really wanted to explore it further and see if there was any other information that we needed in terms of the many paths, because that could be the moment or the area where you need a bit of extra guidance or insight or support. So for that, we're going to use the Rider-Waite. And I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to cut the deck 4 times for the 4 points of the compass, north, south, east, west. And there will be a lot of information in those cuts, so it's worth watching that as well. Okay, let's have a look. That just popped out. Knight of Cups just popped out. Yeah, messages of love coming through. That's just confirming that it's worth watching the 4 cuts, C-U-T-S, because each of them carries some message of love. So I'm going to cut the deck, and as I say that, at the bottom of the deck is the 10 of Cups. So these are messages of love coming through, and then we've got on the split the 5 of Swords and the 10 of Cups. So on the way to getting to your 10 of Cups, yeah, this guy kind of looks very smug and satisfied with having defeated the others, but really that paradigm's done and over. You're out of that energy. You're done with dealing with people like that, and you're done with dealing with that energy within yourself. Okay, squeaky cards. Right, and then we cut the deck again, second time. So we have the 10 of Cups, which we're still working towards, and we have the 6 of Wands here. Victory is in your sight, and he's actually looking at the 10 of Cups. Cut number 3. Okay, again, we still have 10 of Cups at the bottom, and have the 5 of Pentacles. So again, this is energy that you're shifting out of and away from: isolation, abandonment, poverty, suffering, deprivation. Okay, and then this time the Five of Pentacles has stayed at the bottom, and this is affirming that we always have a choice that we can make. We are sovereign and the power is in our hands, and you are choosing better, choosing to let go of the lack mentality and the positivity mentality. Okay, so the Mother Star Yes card. See if we can get detail. Yes, you're done with heartache and pain. And the, so the swords are the air sign, right? Thoughts. And it's these thoughts that keep being stabbed in the heart. So it's a change of thoughts, change of mind, change of perception. All these like rainy clouds in the background as well, storm clouds. It's yes, you're done with the heartache and pain of the past. You're done with that. I did say there'd be messages of love, didn't I? So maybe this really is. Let's see. Okay. And then of course we have the Hierophant and the Temperance. The Hierophants can sometimes indicate marriage or deep commitment, deep learning, high truths and tradition, temperance, the balance. You have very much transcended what could have even been sort of traditional patterns of heartache, ones that you inherited through family, community, society, growing up, or just general life experience, or even in the media, whatever. So there's a multi-layer of messages with this, and I like that the numbers are ascending, 3, 5, and then of course the 14 of the Temperance. You have been alchemizing this process. I feel this is, in this instance, I feel this is definitely referring to patterns and patterns of heartache that you have repeated over and over again. And there would have been a learning and wisdom in that. It's not like it's wasted time. It's not like you were failing to change the patterns or change traditions or see things properly. That was actually part of the process. It was part of the journey. It wasn't a mistake. You didn't get it wrong. You may have even had a few actual marriages and divorces already, or you may have had none, or you may have had many, or just one deep committed relationship, whatever your situation is. This is saying this was part of your soul's evolution, so don't beat yourself up about it. Give yourself a break, okay? Someone may be slightly in that mindset of thinking, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that, they could have done it better, why didn't they know sooner? Well, the thing is, we can only ever do the best that we're able to do at the time that we're able to do it. Even if we sort of think that we do know better and then somehow still repeat certain mistakes and then kick ourselves, or even if we're in the process of repeating as a mistake and knowing that we can do better, then really it just shows that really we are just growing and learning, and we just need to hold compassion for that, for those periods in our lives. Okay. Yeah, I feel this is saying that the pattern is done. And you've got, this is affirming that you're moving on, and you've been doing the work. And yes, the King of the Sword is the ultimate in cutting out the bullshit. And this is the process that you've been going through. And it's not just been a case of cutting things out. You've been finessing and working through lifetimes of patterns, not just your patterns, but generational patterns and societal patterns and patterns of humanity that all get imposed upon us. And as I say that, I'm looking at this. When you look at the seabed and you see where the tide coming in and out creates ripples in the sand, that's how the consciousness of humanity is on a cosmic scale. We are like these ripples in the sand, and our patterns, whether it's societally at the macro level or it's at individual level, these are natural consequences of the ebb and flow of life, of elements working through in their natural processes, okay? Which is why we can hold compassion for them, because that nature just is, right? The nature of wind, the nature of water, the nature of the ocean. Acceptance that we are a part of nature, and therefore all that is within us is a part of nature. That acceptance can also help with this process of transcending and learning and growing beyond patterns. Just pause this. So I just noticed the bottom of the deck, 5 of Cups. And I think this is just affirming that sometimes we can feel a sense of grief and loss, even when we're letting go of things that we know that are toxic and harmful for us, and not great for us, whether that's internal processes, thoughts, beliefs, paradigms, or whether it's external and situations, circumstances, connections, relationships, or things that we've perhaps identified ourselves with. We can still grieve these things. We are allowed to grieve things, and it's a natural and healthy process. Obviously, we don't want to get stuck there, but we can grieve that which is past and that which we are releasing as well. And also that is part of the letting go process and the growth. Without that process, then we're kind of in denial and then not really moving on. So we have to have that time of grief and acknowledgement, and even if it's just within ourselves, that sense of, yeah, okay, that wasn't good for me. I know it wasn't good for me, but there was so much that I did get from that. There's so much growth, so much wisdom, and okay, maybe less healed parts of me found that to be a comfort. It's like the saying, you can be stuck in a rut, or you can be stuck in a fur-lined rut, and you can get comfy in your suffering. Humans can. We're funny creatures. So acknowledging the grief, that's okay. So we've got the Sun and the Ten of Pentacles. I feel this is very much sort of part of this process of the many paths, is this acknowledgement of what's been and letting go, and then this stepping forward, because we know this flow is what we've been working towards, and what is coming. And perhaps I'll do a separate read just on the flow. So Sun and the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, King of Cups. So yeah, Leo energy, fire energy, water energy, earth energy. Okay, so yeah. So you're now filling up your own cup. That's what you're doing. That's what you have been doing, and it's working. Okay, so that you can now start to make plans to move on with the next part of your life. And again, this is why the grief card, the 5 of Cups perhaps came up, because sometimes we can be wanting so much for so long to be moving on, and then we can get to that point where we're about to, and then we're a bit like, oh, okay, I've actually got to go now. Okay, so I've got to do it. I've done all the work. I'm ready. I'm prepared. I've made my plans. And now I've got to go. Now I've got to take that next step. So that can be the even scariest part, because it's almost easier working through the drudge and stuff, and getting the nose to the grindstone and doing the day in, day out work. That can become, we get into a rhythm. So then we get to a point where we've got to make that next step. It's almost a bit like the Fool card. And I'm sort of getting that sense of the Fool card with this combination, actually, because he is stepping out with this innocence of love and joy and freedom. And he's not afraid of, I was going to say he's not afraid of hard work, but that is not what you associate with the Fool card. But hey ho. Yeah, and fresh new horizons. He's got the globe in his hand. he's got his staff ready. One is bolted. This one he'll be leaving behind. He just takes his wand, right? You just need your one staff, like you see with the hermit, carrying his staff with the lamp attached to it. So you do have to leave something behind. Okay. Yes, okay. And that was all with this King of Cups, which is the emotional intelligence, emotional balance. Love is supporting you through this. Whether that's the love that you embrace within yourself and filling up your own cup, whether that's also the divine love, which you are connecting to more and more, source love, and whether that's in the form of love that may be surrounding you in terms of the people that you may be collaborating and working with as you step forward into new ventures. So love is guiding you, and I'm really drawn to this dove of peace up here. So peaceful heart, being in your alignment and energy. And I really see this coming through in Leo season is just around the corner if you're watching this when it's coming out. So whenever you're watching this, the sense is this is just around the corner. Okay, and this was another affirmation of Leo season when we had the gatherer. So let's, you're gathering your strength. It's funny, isn't it, how it can be so literal sometimes. You're gathering your strength, ready for your next steps, which is again this point moment where you're looking at the many paths and making some decisions. So what else we need to know about this gathering of strength? Before I was seeing it as the research and enough information to make choices about which way to head with the many paths ahead. Gathering strength. Yeah, magician. Okay, so this I'm feeling is a leveling up, and you're actually getting to you may actually feel like you're in a pause moment right now. And I think this is about gathering your resources, resetting yourself, your body self, physical, mental, emotional, because you're about to access a new level of your skills, talents, abilities, of the subconscious, of the supraconscious, and bringing them together consciously in manifestation. And manifestation really means to make manifest, to make material, to make, to draw in to the tangible world. Like anything, a piece of artwork at first starts out there in the ethers, in the sparks of creativity, and it has been made and created. But it starts with that spark. Okay. Is there anything else with that? The gatherer of strength. It's like I'm seeing his belt here, like in karate or jiu-jitsu or any of the martial arts where they have belts. It's the highest belt, actually. I think after a black belt or a double black belt or a triple dan or whatever the wording is. I think I remember hearing this story that the ancient masters, obviously this is quite a long story, but it gets to the point where the black belt, the reason why it's black is because it just slowly, over the years of training and practice, it turns colours naturally. So it starts off as a white belt with the pure and innocent beginner's mind, and then it becomes yellow and it gets tainted, and it goes through all these different colours, and it's black with grit and years of mastery. And then at the point of enlightenment, the white starts to crack through again and it returns to white. The black flakes off. I don't know if that's really used commonly in martial arts today, but I remember hearing that, and it's like a Shaolin story or Zen Buddhist monk story explaining the meaning behind the belts. So I'm just looking, you're leveling up to the next belt was the whole purpose of that story. But hopefully you enjoyed the story. Okay, was there anything else for that? Okay, yeah. So holding your ground, and it's funny that I was talking about martial arts and we've got this Seven of Wands, holding his ground. He's holding his ground, he's on higher ground, He's holding his boundaries, and he's in his own power and strength, as are you, which is what Leo is all about as well, that Leo energy. Is there anything with that? Okay, yeah, Page of Wands. And like I said before with the Two of Wands, when he walks on, he will just walk with the one wand, the one staff, like the Fool has the staff over his back with a little bag attached to it. So you're about this leveling up and the beginner's mind came to mind as well with the black belt and the white belt. So you are about to level up, step forward, and progress with new inspiration on your path. Let me just check with this. Yeah, okay, I was just trying to see if there's anything else from that. Okay, you know, I'm gonna just do a couple more and then I'll do a different reading on the flow. So is there anything specifically about the many paths, which is what I wanted to bring the focus back to, and that was what flipping over as I started to shuffle Knight of Cups, and what's trying to come out is the oh look, and we can see the sun shining through here as well, and the Hermit was shining through, and the Six of Swords, and this is all just saying, you know, you are moving on, and you're moving on in love, with love, supported by love, and with a pure heart, and with the humility and grace, and the wisdom that you've learnt and earned through your lifetimes. Yeah, these wanted to come through, so I'm going to take them. Oh look, we've got the Chariots there. Judgment. Okay, yeah, walking away from past dramas. And I like that. It's funny that you're at the point of many paths, which is many paths ahead, which may suggest there's only one path behind, but actually I feel like you've left many paths behind you as well. So there's something about this choice of many paths is you're also going to be choosing, you may have many paths, these 8, you know, in front of you as options, and you're choosing to go your own way. Okay, so somewhat, what's the word? Non-traditional, somewhat, what's that word when it's not in the normal way of doing things, or the so-called normal way of doing things. That's, you know, that's what we've got here. I sense it, you know, we've just got Uranus is about to, or is entering Gemini, and in the last reading, or one of them, I talked about Uranus has been at the 28th, 29th degree for the last year or so, of Taurus. It's been in Taurus for the last, I don't know, 6-7 years. But specifically in the last degrees of Taurus for the last year and a bit. I'd have to check that. But anyway, so many paths. Okay, love is part of your path. Okay, so you're actually going to be on your horse. It doesn't have to be a high horse. You're going to be on your horse. You're not walking this barefoot in the ground. You have passage. You have a vehicle, which is love. Love is carrying you forwards on your path. Okay, and then these are what came out. That's interesting. So yes, again, look, this is the one staff that I was talking about. Whichever path you take and whichever way you go forwards, doing so with this sense of grace and reverence and with purity. Again, I'm seeing the white, like the beginner's mind, like the black belt, like the purity of the beginner's mind. He's got his staff and his light is guiding him ahead. Okay, so being guided by your light. And then the sun was popping out. And again, you know, what greater light and joy is there than the sun and the sun card? So not only can you trust your inner light and your inner guidance and wisdom, which you can and you will, you also have the solar power of our sun, source love guiding you. You are protected. And this is enabling you to move on to new shores in new directions. And this Chariot Cancer season, as I'm recording it, we're just, Cancer moving towards Leo season. And I feel this is again pointing to the time being sort of now and next, in terms of a timescale. So whenever you watch this, things that are happening now and are coming next, it's sort of imminent. And again, with this, there's this feeling of just pausing for a moment to get ready to pick up the reins and direct the horses forwards on the correct path, on the right road for you. There's this great, oh God, where did I read that quote? In the Upanishads, I think, which refers to the different parts of the self being the chariot, guided by the sun and the stars. I'd have to double check that. But it's how this whole integration of self is like the chariot, and the reins are like the will that control the different parts of the psyche. The road is the path of integrity and wisdom. Okay, it's probably better if you just look it up. Maybe I'll just put a link to the Upanishads and see if I can find that verse in there. So, but it's a spiritual path, overseen by wisdom, integrity, honor, respect. Yeah, judgment. I mean, if you step out of line, if you lack integrity, if you F around and find out, that's what you got to deal with. You got to deal with, and it isn't judgment from others. It isn't judgment from yourself. It is divine judgment, played out in the natural order of things, aka karma, I guess, which cycles back to how elements are elements. Water flows, fire burns, air moves. Okay, kind of gone off on a tangent there. So many paths. Yeah, this is really interesting. Trusting your inner light, trusting your connection to source, moving forwards with love. Look up the Upanishads, the verse about, I'll put a link in. You're moving forward with integrity. You've had enough life lessons and experience to integrate this, and the chariot that carries you is one of love. Okay, and judgment there. Yes, I was saying about, if you mess around, then you kind of have to deal with the judgment aspect. But also this, it's like that divine wake-up call. It's time. There's the clarion call there. He's got the trumpet. It's time. It's time. And that's what was at the bottom of the deck earlier, wasn't it? With the 8 of Cups, moving on. It's time to move on. We saw the 5 of Cups earlier and the grief. It's now time. You're ready. You're ready. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave that there, and then maybe, I think, do another one, do another follow-up. Let's see what happens. Okay, I hope that helps. Do feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe, and catch up with you soon. Okay, thanks. Bye.